Joined by our goaltending expert, Martin Biron. Marty, I want to talk goaltending and dollars. So who better than to bring you in to talk about this? All right, so the word out of Boston is the Bruins and Jeremy Swayman are miles apart in their negotiations with the new deal. Swayman wants somewhere around $10 million a year. The Bruins apparently are offering about $6 million a year. They're $4 million apart, Marty. Who's dreaming on this side, and where do you think this lands?
They're both dreaming right now because I think that Jeremy Swayman could be worth $10 million, but he's only played 132 NHL games. He's never played more than 44 games in a regular season. So I get it. Connor Hellebuck's at $8.5 million. Vasilevsky's $9.5 million. Bobrovsky's $10 million. Shesterkin may go to $12 million, but Shesterkin had to take a 4-year deal at $5.6 million before getting there. So even though Swayman is in that same group when you look at quality of goaltending, he's not in the same group when you look at the experience, the games played, the Vezina trophies. He's not there yet. So Boston is dreaming because they'll never get Jeremy Swayman at $6 million. Swayman is dreaming because he'll never get $10 million right now. I think that $7 to $7.5 million on a long-term deal, let's say 7 years, is probably the sweet spot for me. But look, if they're $4 million apart, it's going to be a battle going into training camp.
Marty, let's be honest. You and I are both goalie huggers for obvious reasons, but I don't understand what's going on with the dollars from the goalies. The players' numbers keep going up as the salary cap keeps going up. We saw Austin Matthews get his deal. We just saw Leon Draisaitl sign for $14 million a year. That makes sense. But from a goaltending standpoint, the highest paid goalie in the NHL is still Carey Price, who's not even playing, and he signed that deal way back in 2017. What's going on the goaltender side when it comes to salaries?
There's a couple of things, Number one, I think that the middle of the pack is a lot closer to the top when you look at goaltenders, right? The time where Dominik Hasek and Patrick Roy and Marty Brodeur and Curtis Joseph and Ed Belfour were the group of five and nobody even came close to them is not there anymore. Look at Tampa last year. They said, we'll go with Jonas Johansson until Vasilevsky is healthy. And they were 9-6-5 before Vasilevsky returned. So they still stayed above water and afloat in the Eastern Conference. So I think that's why the middle of the pack is not as far from the top guys. Now, the other point that you should look into is that goalies, when it was Hasek and Roy brother, played 65, even 70 games a year. Now, your number one goaltender in the best of world will play maybe 50 to 55 games. Maybe they'll stretch it to 60, but those that do are getting paid a lot of money. So not only are your top netminders not playing as much, I think the middle of the pack has gotten closer. So, look, I want goalies to get paid. You want goalies to get paid, but I think it's hard to justify a guy playing 50 to 55 games, making $11, $12 million when you have Draisaitl playing potentially all 82 and making 14. I think it's really hard to do.
We can argue how much goalies should make, but here's the bottom line, Marty, and I think you'd agree with this. No single player on the ice has more effect on the outcome of a game than the goaltender. And despite that fact, there are 14 players in the NHL that are making $10 million or more in the league this year, and only one of them, Carey Price, is a goalie.